Welcome back to Plastic Surgery Untold, the greatest podcast in the world, as voted by us. Super excited to have my colleague and close friend, Dr. Greg Buford, out of Colorado. And you're actually the person that introduced me to Octane. And so you've always been on the cutting edge of technology and aesthetics. So what's coming in 2025 as everybody wants to know?
So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background as well too. Is Octane, the little shameless plug. I've worked with Octane for probably about 5-6 years. There is no better meeting. There's no better venue that any practitioner in this space to get to know not only what works, but what's coming. What are the trends? What are the directions of this field? You've got to stay current. In this field, you've really got to stay current. You owe it to your patients. You owe it to your practice. I introduced Johnny, several years ago. I've had the pleasure of working with him. So, what is coming? There's a lot of stuff in the hair industry. Hair is super, super big. Skincare with respect to exosomes, regenerative, so forth. The biologics, I think the biologics are really kind of where we're heading. We want to use technologies that allow our bodies to produce collagen, elastin, and other substances as well, too. And we want to do it naturally. We want to do it naturally. We want to do it comprehensively. And we want to have something that's going to be one step ahead. I do a lot of facial injectables. Honestly, the HAs, the hyaluronic acid products, they're great, but they can only get so sexy. You know what I'm saying? Fat crabbing. I know you're working with a couple companies in that area. It's really, fat's the same thing. It's being able to harvest what we already have. Most of us, except for, for the two people sitting next to me, we have no body fat. I do. So I'll be a good fat donor for anybody that's looking for it. Being able to actually harvest that, and use that for a variety of things, whether it is filling volume or using it actually as a biostimulant, that's where we're heading. And it's really exciting. So, every year, Bill and his team, Bill Carpoo, asked me to be part of this. And it's a resounding absolutely yes. Why? Because to me, this is exciting. This is the Disneyland of technology. This is an exciting time where you can actually learn, again, where is our space, our aesthetic space? Where is it heading?
Because Secretomes is an exciting one, and Jen is actually one of the clinical sites for that for a company called ACORN that actually kind of got built through Octane and got it started and got introduced from you and really taking, because regenerative medicine's been a hot term for a while, but it's really great to see companies doing true research and really showing like what's the benefit, how do we do this, and I think that's why you're going to see it become more mainstream.
Well, I think that's what's really key to just to both of y'all's point. It's not enough anymore to just stay up to date. You have to stay ahead of the curve, which is what makes this conference so unique. And like you said, there's so many patients shifting more towards these regenerative medicine, the biostimulants, things like that. So when you're able to come to something like this and take advantage of those next level treatments kind of before, anyone else, you can give the best care to your patients.
Yeah, and I really agree. You've got companies like ACORN. ACORN is an early startup from Toronto, Canada. I had the honor of meeting Will and Baru, the founders, several years ago here at Octane, and they said, "Hey, we've got this idea. We'd like to pitch it to you." It took about 15 seconds for me to realize. I'm like, "Are you seriously kidding me with this idea? This is amazing. What you want to accomplish." This is groundbreaking. A lot of it is kind of sounds like science fiction, hocus pocus, taking hair cells, condensing it down into a fluid that you can use to regenerate. But the reality is it's not. And I'm part of the same trial as well, too. And what's cool is actually recently, and I'll shout this out, is they actually recently did a study that they were able to develop progenitor cells. So cells that were actually predating pancreatic cells. So if you think about that, if you can induce the growth of pancreatic cells from this area, guess what you can potentially solve? Diabetes. You want to solve a $1 billion problem that it just haunts the world? Diabetes. Okay, that's huge. And this company's going to do it. So it's, being able to actually be a part of this kind of thing, be a part of the movement, and see it. It's exciting on multiple levels. I think what's really neat is, I've been in this for a while, is we've seen the aesthetic space go from, lines and wrinkles, kind of, voodoo, little magic wand nonsense, to stuff that's really transformative, stuff that really changes lives.
And what would put you on the spot, because I know you got to get going in a little bit. What would you say is the top 3 trends you're going to see in 2025?
I mean, easily one is going to be by regenerative medicine. I mean, it's going to be us, us using our own products, whether it's, whether it's hair, whether it's fat cells, what have you. Two is going to be the focus on hair. We all lose it. I mean, I'm a hair transplant. You guys got great hair, but I'm a hair transplantation times two, so, for me, I mean, this is a huge thing that's very, very personal, but, I think that's the second trend. The third trend, I think I'd easily said, and this is right up your alley and right up your alley. You guys do this every day. The GLP-1s. I mean, I think the GLP-1s, whether you want to look at Ozempic, Wegovy, tirzepatide, all these kind of things, these are really, really going to change the market. They really have. And what I always crack up is, when they first came on, everybody said, you know what, this is a trend, this is going to be kind of a passing thing. I said, you know what, it's going to be a trend just like Botox cosmetic.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be $1 billion. Now it's forecasted to not be a $10 billion. It's going to be a $100 billion industry. I mean, so because we're seeing now changes not only, in weight loss, and my God, we're just talking, you've lost 90 pounds. I bumped into this guy at a meeing. And
I didn't recognize him. Walked right.
I didn't even recognize him. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, I walked right by him, and he's like, gee, he's like, hey, it's me. I'm like, okay. So we're seeing changes, not only in the externally, but also too with lipid levels, with cardiac protective effects, neuroprotective effects. There is a lot of stuff. The GLP-1s are here to stay. So what I would say is, those of you looking into the aesthetic space, this is an exciting time to be in it, and Octane is leading the charge.
Well, Greg, again, thank you enough for being here. I know you're super busy, kind of spearheading this, and you're actually hosting Launchpad later today, or one of the judges, which is super cool. New companies coming out, so can't wait to see you a little bit later today. But Surgery Untold, greatest podcast in the world. If people want to find you, what's your handle?
Yeah, my handle is Beauty by Buford, so it's at Beauty by Buford. It's also at Dr. Gregory Buford on Instagram. So look me up, and my email address as well too. You guys are welcome to reach out to that. It's drbuford@beautybybuford.com. Website is beautybybuford.com. We'd love to talk to you.
Awesome. We'll see you guys.